Let's talk about getting Max set up so you can use it without having to change a bunch of settings every time you get started. So if you open your render settings here, by default Max starts with Art Renderer. So change this, either use Corona or V-Ray, change it to whatever you use. Go into your render elements, add the elements in here that you're going to use. This is just your normal basic setup, So we're going to go atmosphere, background, caustics, maybe use denoiser. I'm not using it right now, I'm just setting this up how I would use it. I'm going to go global illumination, lighting, material ID, object ID, reflection, refraction, render ID, specular, SSS2. See if I've missed anything off self-illum. I think that's everything there that I normally use. And then additionally, I like to put in 2 V-Ray extra text. So just put that in there, put another one in there. And then I'm going to call this 100. And I'm going to call this one 300. And this is for my ambient occlusion. So I'm going to click here to open my material editor. I'm going to go to V-Ray, materials. Sorry, maps, V-Ray. I'm going to get V-Ray dirt. And I'm going to click on the 100 here. And just bring this up so where it says no map here, just drag that in there. Say I want it instanced. Say OK. That just means it's going to be exactly any changes I make to this, it's going to change that. So just double click this so we can edit it over here and change that to 100. And then I'm going to click on the V-Ray extra texture, grab another V-Ray dirt, double click on this one, make this 300, and then just drag that into the map. Say instance it over there. Okay, great. So now I've got that set up the way I like it. Basically, you're going to set up any of these other settings. So maybe you want distributed rendering on all the time, so you're going to turn that on. Go to your settings, you want save servers in a scene. If you're doing distributed rendering, this one here is going to make it so when you save the servers out here and say which ones to use, it's going to remember and it's going to keep those. So we're going to click OK. We're going to go to your GI, set this up how you like it. I don't know if you use brute force or you use irradiance map, but just change this to whatever you want to use, for production. Go to your V-Ray. For tests, I'll often use these settings with progressive, but for actual production renders, I'll change it to bucket normally. Sometimes I leave these at default. Normally I change this down to about 24. Sometimes I go lower, depending on how many glossy items I have in the scene, how much glass I have in the scene. I'm going to leave the environment as it is. Color mapping, I'm going to change it to linear multiply. I think that's good. And then here, what size do you want to render? So I'm going to say let's go HDTV, and let's leave it at that for now. Again, for production, I'm normally rendering out at 4K, but this is fine for now. So now we've got the basics here set up how we want them to be every time we open Max. So now you just click on File, and then Save. And then what you're going to do is just click on this PC or Quick Access. You need to go to your Documents, and then 3ds Max. And then in here you want to find your Scenes folder. Go into your Scenes folder, and then you're just going to call this Max Start, and click Save. And now when I close this and reopen, it'll have all those same settings.